There are three ways to add styles to your Reflex application. You can use the inline styles, you can use the component styles, and also you can use the global styles. The inline styles has the highest precedence, followed by the component styles, and then finally you have the global styles to have the lowest precedence. I'm going to show how to apply a global style. First of all, I'm going to specify a text component. So I'll say display first text. This is going to return a text, and this is going to be hello world. Second is going to display another text. Display second text. This is going to return a text in the hello world in Spanish. Uh, this is what we have, and then I'm going to display first text. I'll put those components in my index, and then display second text. This is what I have, and then if I go to my browser, I have the text there. Now to give these components a global style, what I'm going to do, you're going to say, come down here, and then I will say style is equals to dictionary. So I can specify font family. I want to give them, then I will say, let me just use comic sans ms, and then I can give them a font size. This is going to have, I can say 16 pixels. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my rx.app. I'll say style is equals to style. So by specifying my style variable here, and then coming down to my rx.app and then specifying the style there. And what I'm doing is specifying a global style to my components. And both of these components are going to have the same styling I have here. So if I go to my notice, the yellow word here, the fonts, the size and the font family, the font type have changed. So that is what it's going to do. It's going to apply those styling to all of your components. So that is what the global style is about. Then the next thing, so to note, for a global style, you're going to specify the style in the dictionary, and then you pass the style to the style attributes in your rx.app. Then for the component style, what you're going to do is I can have, so since I have both rx.text components, what I can do is I can take this out and say rx.text, and then I'll specify my dictionary, and then I can just say font family, and then I can specify just the same thing I had before, sans ms. So what it simply means is it is going to apply this font family style to rx or text components. So this is component styling, applying your styling to the components you have specified. And then if I go to my browser and see my code, they have the same style because I said the styling should be applied to rx or text. What's Another thing you can do is you can use class names. So for example, let's say I change this to color. I want to give them a text color. I give this to be red. And I'm going to give this a class name of, let's say, some CSS. Or I can say first CSS class. Then I can copy this, put a comma sign here. I can call this second. Let me take out this second CSS class. And then for my text components, I can come down here and say class underscore name is equals to first CSS class. Then for this, I can say class name equals to second CSS class. I can change this second CSS class color to be, let's say, blue. Right, so what I'm trying to do is I'm showing how to use class names in Reflex. So if I go to my browser now, I have, it's still loading. Let's say I have loading. I have red color and then I have blue because I specified the class names. I gave this first CSS class and then I gave this other one second CSS class. One thing you have to note is that when you're naming your classes, I use dash. So instead of using an underscore, you're going to use a dash for your class names. And also, instead of using a class name, I can also use an ID. So I can say ID, then ID, and then I'll change this to an hash sign. This should compile. Then we still have the same thing, still loading. Right, we still have the same thing. So you can use class names, you can use ID field for to do your component styling. Yeah, okay. And then the other thing you need to note is that for your ID you have to use the hash, and then class name you have to use the full stop. And then notice I use this dash sign here. They are also important when you are naming your classes and your IDs. Then next thing we are going to do is we are going to talk about inline styling. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this out and then I'll take this one out also. Now for your inline styling, basically it is just going to your components and giving them a style. So for example, for this component, I can give it a style of just color is equals to green, and then this can be color is equals to red. Let me change the color of purple. I have these colors here. It's going to compile, and then I'm going to check my browser to show you guys the results I have. Let's compile. Then you have your purple and then you have the pink. Perfect. So this is inline styling. It's basically giving styling to a single component. I gave styling to this component, and also I gave styling to this other component. The other things we need to note is that the children components, notice these components I have here, display first text, display second text, they are children components to this rx.box. Now, children components, they inherit styling from their parent components. So, for example, if I should say color is equals to red, and then I take out these color attributes I have here, these color props I have here, and then I take this one out also. These components are going to have this red color because children components are going, they normally inherit the styling of their parent components. When I go back to my browser, notice it's loading, they are red. Right, so that is one thing you need to note also. And then if I should specify a color here, let's say I say this is blue, then let's see what is going to happen. Now, because this has a color, it is going to make use of this blue color and not red. But this doesn't have any color, it's going to make use of this red color we have here. Let me show you what I mean. Loading. Perfect. This is blue and this is red. What I have here is blue, and this is getting red color because it is inheriting the color of rx.box of its parent component. Another thing, we can also set inline styles using the style prop. And now what I mean is this. Let me take this one out. Take this prop out. I can say text underscore style is equals to my dictionary, and then I can specify color to be, let's say, red, and then I can go to my component and say style is equals to text style, and then I'm going to go to my browser. What I expect to see is that this component is supposed to have a color of red, and then this does not have any color. Then let's see. Perfect. So you can also specify your the CSS the styling property of the component like this, specifying the styling as a dictionary, and then calling style props and passing the style. You can do this also. And then some other things you can do again is, let's say I call this text style one, and then this is text style two is equals to my dictionary. Then I can say, what should I say here? I can say, let me use the same color, and then this is blue. Then I can pass this as a list. So I have text style one, comma, text. Uh, so we have this list. And then what I expect to see is that it's going to have this text style two color because of the precedence. So I have this first and this last. It's going to take the color of this second dictionary. So when I go to my browser, notice I have hello world because in blue, because this that has blue comes last. Right, so you can have to, so I can change this to be text. I can say underline, and then let's see what is going to happen. We should compare. going to compile and see. Let's see. Notice underline. Now what is happening is that it's taking the styling of both text style 1 and text style 2 and then passing it down to this particular component. This is what we have. So what you're supposed to note is that in Reflex you can do the inline styling by passing your style in the component. You can do the component styling and then you can also do the global styling. And then inline styling has the highest precedence followed by your component styling and then your global styling. And also you can use reflex theme. We're going to talk about that in our next video. And also reflex accept custom style sheet. You can also do that in reflex.